Good evening, my friends. Buenas noches, amigos. Esta noche vamos a hacer frijoles charros. Tonight we're making a special dish that I learned in Mexico about 20 years ago because I am 100 years old, which is it's just the typical beans that they eat with tortillas, but I am making it and we're eating it with white rice. This is called FrijolesCharros, which is just beans charros. I don't have an exact translation for it. It takes 8 hot dogs. In this case, I have 7 because somebody stole one. About 6 strips of very cooked crunchy bacon. This is not finished cooking yet, but I will put it back in to cook for another 2 minutes. A bunch of cilantro, about 12 little sticks of cilantro. Half of white onion. 1 jalapeno. You have to strip it and remove the seeds. If you want the seeds to be in the jalapenos, it's going to make it very, very spicy. I cannot eat spicy food. 2 teeth of garlic, which I'm going to cut because it's usually too big for my shredder. And then we have tomato paste, which I love. You can add 2 bay leaves, it's optional, but I'm gonna add the bay leaves. I think it's very good. We have our regular people, we have salt, we have oregano, we have chili powder, we have paprika, we have pepper, and we also have cumin. So it's gonna be a lot of good stuff going in this. See you in a minute. For starters, you put your oven and your stove, on high, and you add 1 large spoon of oil, any oil you like. My friend that taught me this recipe 20 plus years ago never added oil because she used to use the bacon grease, but I don't do well with bacon grease, so this is just my particular taste. I like to just use regular cooking oil. And the first thing that goes inside here is your wonderful, ever so handy, your hot dogs. I cut them like this. You can cut them any way you like. I cut into myself. This is not good. It's not safe. Don't try this at home. But if you want to be a little civilized, since I don't recommend you cutting into your hand, you cut them like this, and you should cut them into a board, okay? Don't do the crazy things that I do just because you love watching Chris cook. So you should be cutting into little circles like this. I'm using chicken hot dogs. You can use, some people use turkey, some people use beef, any hot dog you want. And that's the first thing that goes in. It's because you want the hot dogs to be a little bit crispy, not burnt crispy, just a little bit of color on it. So for the sake of color, you're throwing those right in. See, right here where I am, you can start to hear the sizzle. While I'm sizzling, I'm going to put my 6 strips of bacon so they can become crispy in my microwave. If you want to do it in a pan, that is fine. It's up to you. I like it in here. And I'm going to give it 2 minutes. I already gave it 3, so a total of about 5 minutes for it to be that consistency that I want. And bacon is the last ingredient that I put into my FrijolesCharros. Here it's looking like you've got like a little crispy to it. You don't want it to be too crispy or, go too crazy, but just a little bit of color, you see? Just as it looks dull when it starts to cook. You want to taste test to make sure it tastes like hot dog. It tastes like hot dog, so that's the hot dog test. See, with just a little bit of oil, so it can burn a little bit. Also, since this is called FrijolesCharros, it means that it requires beans. I'm using 2 cans of fully cooked pinto beans. You could cook your beans yourself and have 2 cans. 2 can make 2 cups. So this gets a little crispy, I start adding my beans. So it's 2 cups of cooked pinto beans and always 2 cups of water. That's regular water from your faucet. Some people like it more watery, more soupy like. You can add 4 cups. I'm going to make it just with 2 cups. And there goes my second can of beans or 1 cup of beans. Make sure you have all your stuff in there. Don't leave any bean behind. If as this starts to cook, you think that it's looking a little dry, you can always add. Keep your extra cup of water on the side and you can add it in. As this is all happening, we start adding our ingredients. The first ingredient is salt. 1 tablespoon of salt. Let's put it right in there. Half teaspoon of oregano. Take the oregano, put it in your hand like this. 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. You understand that I'm not a pepper person. Pepper to me is always very overwhelming, but there it goes. Half teaspoon of chili powder. It gives a color, plus it gives it the little kick. Half teaspoon of cumin. Half teaspoon of paprika. And the optional 2 bay leaves. It's up to you. Bay leaf has a particular aftertaste. I'm just putting 2 nice bay leaves in there. Mix this all up. And now I'm going to add my heaping spoon of tomato paste. Many of my friends add 2 cups of chopped tomatoes. For some reason, I don't like the tomato like that. So I'm adding a very, very big spoon just to give it a little bit of color. You don't want it to be sparkling red or sparkling orange, just a little bit of color. And you're gonna let this just simmer by itself. You should cook this for a minimum of 30 minutes. So that the beans get a little softer, it gets all the juices flow, it gets the flavor of the hot dogs and everything else. Now we're gonna take a look at our bacon. And our bacon is looking pretty sexy. I think it's not crispy enough. So instead of 5 minutes total, I'm gonna give it another minute. That will equal 6 minutes. While that's going on, I'm gonna move myself to my chopping block here, and I'm gonna chop my half white onion into as small pieces as I could possibly chop it. See, it looks like that. Pieces like this. It's looking good. I'm also going to chop my jalapeno, just 1 jalapeno without seeds. If you're that person that loves spicy food, leave the seeds. Good luck. I'm just too old for the spicy food stuff. As you can tell, I try to cut it as small as I can without taking my finger. So they should look about like that. Put this on the side. This goes right in. Right in, and it's on high heat for 30 minutes. See how it's beginning to cook? It's looking mighty beautiful here. Fabulous. It's all beginning to cook. It smells absolutely great from where I am. Look at how beautiful that looks. Oh, yummy, yummy. Okay. Now we go to the garlic part. I got my 2 teeth of garlic. I chopped it up as small as I could get it, for it to fit into my little press here. And there we go. There we go. We let that continue to simmer. While that's happening, we're going to cut up our bacon. See you in a minute. The very last ingredient I put in is my chopped up cilantro, which is about 10 to 12 sticks of cilantro like this. Chopped into about 1/2 inch, and that's just for a garnish. It looks absolutely beautiful. It makes the meal pretty and sexy, and that's what we always aim for, sexy. Here are my 6 crispy pieces of bacon. This goes in the way I put it in. Some people do it earlier when I put in the cilantro. So it's also part of the garnish because I don't want it to become gooey and soft, and that it's not a good idea for me personally. And because it's hot right now, I'm gonna use my scissors to cut it, and you cut it into little pieces like that, about 1/2 inch also. I'll show you what it should look like. It should look about like this. It's a finishing touch to a perfect dish. See you in a minute. You have 6 pieces of bacon, should look about 1/2 cup of bacon. And if you have not invested in scissors, there's many stores that sell them for only 99 cents. It is a great tool, and I use it very often in a lot of my cooking. And as I continue to cook and you continue to watch my channel, which I appreciate, thank you very much, one of these always comes in handy. So now after 25 minutes of cooking, your beans look this fabulous. See how big your hot dog goes? You can even see the beans, but they're there. You see everything is beautiful and fabulous. You throw in your bacon, half a cup of bacon, which is 6 strips. You blend it all in nicely. You throw in your cilantro, and voila, your meal is complete. This, as I told you earlier, I will be serving with some white rice that is not yet ready, and you already have my white rice recipe. And this, my friends, is how you serve FrijolesCharros with the option of white rice, about 6 to 8 tortillas. Have a wonderful evening, and again, thank you for watching Chris Cooks.